So welcome everybody. Nice to see you. Darren's just asked me, so what are you going to speak about today? And I said, I don't know. So I suppose I could talk about not knowing what to speak about. Because I'd heard from lots of speakers and from a lot of what I'd read that what was being spoken about was not knowing. Well, how are you going to go about that? You know, I wanted to not know if that was liberation. I remember there's a Krishnamurti title called Freedom from the Known. I loved the title, couldn't read the book. Really, I remember buying the book with great excitement, thinking, yeah, freedom from the known, that'll be it. That sounds right on the money. But then it seemed quite a lot of work to be free from the known. But there's no one to be free from the known. Whether there's a sense of knowing or not, really it doesn't matter. But of course it mattered to me when I was looking for the not knowing. I was I was trying to know not knowing. You've probably tried that. It's really an illusory difference, the difference between knowing and not knowing. You have to say, I know, or I don't. And that's really the only difference. So the illusion is that I know what's going on. I know what's happening. Truth is, I haven't got a clue. And neither of you. And wonderfully, neither is anybody. As the wonderful Michael Markham once remarked, nobody knows more about this than anyone else. And really, maybe that's the greatest liberation of all, that there are no special ones. You no longer look to anyone else for answers. You no longer expect any answers. It's pretty fucking obvious there are no answers. And then you don't know what you're left with or what's left when there aren't any answers. And that is no answer. And yet, even though there's a reluctance still, quite often there's a reluctance here to speak about it. There is a love of wanting to share that. It's fucking useless. There's nothing to be done with it. It's not helped me one fucking jot. And yet, here I am every week turning up to share that utterly useless love. If this is heard, or felt, it may feel like the tears will never stop, because it is the loss of everything you thought was real, that you felt was real, that you felt you had, that you held most dear, especially yourself. And all the effort. You tried so hard. I know. So I'm not suggesting you give up trying, but if the trying does of its own accord stop, you won't know what you're left with or what's left. I know there's plenty of people who tell you they do know. the successful ones. Well, if you'd like to share anything, then please feel free to do that. And if you'd like to ask any questions, feel free. Kathy.
Yeah, hi, Tim.
Hi.
My question seems really insignificant after that introduction.
Sorry, a bit heavy today.
Oh. You know, it was funny because like I had seen a movie a couple of days ago and, you know, it was something like at the end, you know, reincarnation. And I just was so sad. Like every dream is gone. Okay, well, it's okay at my age, 73. You know what? Who gives a fuck? Oh, I'm not supposed to be cursing. Oh, shame on me.
Well, you're free to curse here. It's fine.
Oh, merci beaucoup. Okay, so you know what my question was? Because I wrote it down because, you know, anyway, I forgot it.
That's fine. Don't worry. Yeah, ask away.
Okay, it was when you, I like those little things that you're doing now with Nikosi and Michael.
Well, yeah, well, I've only done it once.
Oh, I saw like 3 of them.
No, Michael just edited it. He just picked the bits that he liked and just put them.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say, no, I saw more than one. Don't scare me now. Okay, I got enough problems. You don't know. Okay, I'm going to read what you said.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it says, I hope you can hear me okay. I have to.
Yeah, you're very clear.
Okay. I have to visualize, make an outline and draw around something and say, that's a separate, excuse me, and say that's a separate thing. It's so arbitrary. You can draw the lines anywhere. Okay, so now I was thinking, you know, you really have to draw a line? You're
Oh, so you imagine me. So as I'm looking at anything, before I pick the cup up, I have to look and really carefully draw a line around it. Otherwise, I'm going to miss it with my hand.
I said, oh my God.
Is that what you imagine?
I said, I don't want to go there.
No.
Okay. That was the one question. You know, I mean, come on. What do you expect? I don't know.
Sorry, I know I said that. That was artistic license to call that, Kathy, saying that. But no, but really, I mean, it's there's some truth in it, though. You know that what seems to be lost. I mean, the thingness of things is still there, but it's not believed. It's not real. It's so. You know, a cup still exists, but I don't believe in its existence as separate from everything else that's appearing. That's really it. And I have to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
what we take to be reality, which is separate objects, isn't.
Yeah. Really isn't.
Really isn't, no.
Yeah, really isn't.
But then,
not really.
but then relatively, of course, it is. That is actual relativity, is the appearance of separate objects, yeah, of thingness.
That's the theory of relativity.
Well, that's what relativity is, isn't it? There's things with space in between them. That's
right.
That's
Tim
relativity.
Theory of relativity.
Yeah, and if you throw one thing at another thing,
yeah,
something
the
will
space in
occur.
between them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And of course, that is relatively real. I'm not disputing the whole of science, but it's absolutely not real. But the absolute reality is not separate from that.
Excuse me, repeat, please. I didn't hear what you said. It's not real?
No, it is real, yeah. But not absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Well, that is relative reality. So, no, I don't have to. I mean, really answering your first question, Kathy, I mean, how I would be very slow at doing anything, wouldn't I? If I had to draw all the lines for all the separate objects. I don't have to do that, no.
No, but I didn't really mean you were doing it, but I really thought like you had like, like I was saying, oh my God, he's in isolation. Holy shit. I really thought like, holy cow, really? What's coming out of there?
Yeah, really all I meant was appearance is, you could say it's whole and complete. So appearance is, that's all there is I say this, doesn't matter what you say, but the appearance is singular, you could say. It's whole and complete. There's no parts to it. We arbitrarily create the parts. And of course, you know full well, that's when we get into real arguments about where are the lines between the parts, where does one object end. Don't get me wrong, we don't argue about a cup and a table.
No, but I know politically it's the same thing. Whatever you're arguing about, it's always right and wrong, black and white.
And of course, the most obvious ones, I'm giving Michael a lot of plugs today. The ones Michael always talks about are the
royals.
No, it's the borders between countries, and say where the mountain ends and the valley begins. That's quite a good one. Yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah. Or, the borders between states in America and the borders between countries. I mean, that's very clearly arbitrary, but actually all thingness is arbitrary. By that, I mean, we have to learn that, and then we collude with each other as human beings to say it's true. That's reality.
It's horrible. No, the other fellow, David, who talks about the royals all the time. The royals. Don't
start him off. Maybe I don't think he's here today.
He's funny. I like to hear about what he's talking about, those bastards, whatever. It's good. Makes good.
It's liberation for detesting what's detested.
Liberation. Yeah, definitely. I do detest.
But it can be seen that, it's just one human being's opinion is, can be seen for what it is, which is utterly insignificant and of no significance whatsoever. So when your really valued opinions, which of course I'm not talking about them necessarily changing at all, whether they're yours or not, whether there's the sense that they're my opinions or they're just opinions.
Yeah.
The difference is, of course, when they're my opinions, shit, they matter.
Yeah.
Whereas opinions can be seen for what they are, which is, I mean.
Yeah.
Opinions don't have to change to be free from the weight of
duality.
It's the weight of them being mine that is the problem. Because of course, if they're my opinions and they're important to me, then they need to be right. And of course, that makes most other people wrong.
I just keep my opinions to myself mostly. I do really, otherwise, you know, it looks like I might be engaging in conversational thinking.
I remember you liked that from last week. Yeah. Well, you're fine. No, conversational thinking, that is keeping them to yourself.
That's how I go over the opinions, you know, and then they just really stay there. And, you know, you just look right through them anyway. Listen, thanks a lot, Tim. I really, at one point, I'm gonna get the book too. Do you want me to buy it from you on your website or go to Amazon when I buy your book?
It's the same.
Oh, it is. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
If you go to the website, it just takes you straight to Amazon.
Oh, it does. Okay.
It's Kindle self-published, you see, so you can only get it on Amazon.
It's wait, I didn't get that.
It's KDP, Kindle self-publishing. It's the only way you can get well, there are other ways of getting a non-duality book out, but it was the simplest.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Thanks, Catherine.
I was just thinking about, you know, how we tend to think of things being separated by space, but of course space is a thing as well. So really, it's just full of things.
It's not.
Space is a thing.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No, there aren't any things.
Well, there aren't any things, obviously, yeah.
So space isn't one, for
but
sure.
Space isn't one, no. But when we separate things by looking at things and calling them things, we forget that they're not actually separate because they've got something in the middle, which is a thing called space.
Yeah, the main thing which does all the separating is the space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, probably the most illusory thing of all, that would be the space between.
Yeah.
Fuck all between anything.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I get a bit obsessed with this phrase, but it can just be obvious that there's no in between. There is no in between. There is the appearance of in between.
Wow.
There isn't any in between.
Wow.
Not even nothing, because everything is nothing. There's nothing in between.
Christine asked a question in chat. Christine, did you want to ask that or shall I read it out?
What's that?
I read it. Okay. So she says, in your talk in Copenhagen, you talked about not being the one playing the golf, then said that we are the playing itself. This seemed to be saying we are not what is perceived, but are the perception itself. Have I understood you correctly? If so, would you share more if there is more to say on the topic of being the perception?
I haven't got a clue, Christine. What I will say is that it really, I mean, if you want to nail that down, you're going down the wrong road to be nailing anything down that will not be of any benefit whatsoever. There's no mileage in any of that. I don't know what I mean. These words just spill out like, I don't want to say vomit because it's repulsive, but these words just come out. They don't have any. But I will answer your question anyway, but please don't hang on the answer. But I'll do my best. Say it again, Darren.
So you talked about in Copenhagen being the one playing the golf. And then said we are the playing itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was feeling particularly romantic that day. Obviously, that's a lovely romantic way of saying it. So that's just a way of saying when the sense of being the player the swinger of the golf club, the golfer, if there's no sense of, which this is not unusual, nearly virtually everyone I've ever spoken to have had moments where you could say moments of absence, of being the doer. There's just what's happening, especially in physical doing. So it may be in running or in music or in art or in anything really. Just walking in nature is probably the most common. And rather than being the walker, there's just walking. Oh, I could quote Tony Parsons. Tony Parsons famously talked about, he was walking through the park and then there was just walking through the park with the sensation of each footstep on the ground, the sense of each step, but not being the walker, just the walking. That's all I mean. It's no big deal. Now, if there, it really isn't, because it's just how it is naturally. That is how life is. But for most human beings, there's a sense of being the doer who then claims that. That's all, the claiming. So if there isn't the claiming, there's still the action. There's still the seeming movement, but with great ease. And the problem is self then reappears as the thinker and then says, what the hell happened there? And tries to analyze it and then tries to recreate it. So I had that playing golf and playing football and running, and it was always in physical exercise. I can say, hand on my heart, it's quite a disappointment that I don't have that anymore, because of course that sense of it being special was only when I appeared and made a story about it being special. Now, now it's outrageously, well, you could say it's the norm. It's just how it is. So, but without the one to make it special, it's very ordinary, because of course it is ordinary. So that doesn't happen at all anymore. So rather than what you might think, okay, that happens all the time now, that's how it is all the time. No, it's not how it is all the time, because that the sense of the specialness was only in this when I returned to say how special it was and what happened there. Well, now what happened there was nothing happening there. And there's nothing to say about it. I did admit in Copenhagen how much my golf had improved, though. I had to admit that because it's true. Darren can vouch for that. You won't be surprised that golf without me and all my concerns, there could still be concerns, but without my fear, really, everyone knows fearless anything is better than fearful, whatever you're doing. Christine, do you want me to talk about sex and how that's improved as well? I'll make sure when I put this on YouTube, I'll make sure I press the not for children button. I know you're not interested, but I'll brag a little bit. I'm not immune from still blowing my own trumpet. I broke 80 today. You have to know a bit about golf to see any significance in that, but that's pretty good. So quite genuinely, since I hit 60, my golf has improved. There's a story. Some stories we like, others we don't. I like that one. I wasn't going to brag about sex, Ilana. I was
Natalie has a hand up. Oh yeah, so.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. You know, I don't know, this, it's just so, I can't, well, anything I'm going to say is not me saying it. It's really coming from nowhere. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was just like, oh, okay, so I'm not even doing this thinking. I'm thinking that I'm not thinking, but I'm not thinking that. And I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like, sorry, I can't cuss real loud because there are people here. I was like, what the fuck? And then I said, it's in the what the fuck. And then I was like, no, wait, it is the what the fuck. It's all of this. Anything I say about this, any word I speak about this is bullshit. Like, I don't know anything. There's no me to know anything. You know, it's like, it's even non-duality is bullshit. Okay, we could say Catholicism, you know, whatever. It's all just a story. It's all just, you know, us just, we're not doing it. We're not doing this.
No.
We might think we're doing it. We might think we're not doing it. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what we say. None of it. I mean, come on. Like, this is just very, I mean, it really is silly. It's obvious as hell. And even the thought that it's obvious is this. That's all it is. It's just this. It's indescribable. You can't really, well, there's nothing you could say. Even these words right now, even the thoughts of what I'm saying right now, you know, it's just this. This is all it is. This is all I know. So ignorance is bliss. I mean, I honestly don't know where these words are coming in from at all. Like, and me even saying that is like bullshit too, because I mean, it's all just, you know what I mean? It's all just this, and that's all there is.
Yeah.
There's a thought that I thought, oh,
the
I
words
think
are
I
not...
know what they're saying, but that was all bullshit too. It's like, what are you saying? They don't know what they're saying. Nobody does. I mean, come on. You know, this is just, I mean, it's beautiful, but I can't even really say that. It's just any words. It's just all of it is this. And I don't even understand that at all.
No.
I don't even really know that. I don't know anything I'm really saying right now. And that's all I know, which is nothing and everything. I mean, you know, I don't know. I went on a rant there, but hey, look what I got.
Well, that was
here. It's a plug for Tim.
Thanks. A good plug. I think you've redeemed your ridiculous ramble.
Yes,
about bullshit with
oh my God,
with
I'm
the
so
plug
glad.
of the book. I'm gonna let you off anything for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's not the thing about saying it's all bullshit. Yeah, it's kind of true, but in a way, it's not at all.
Right. Of course.
Because of course, nothing is more bullshit.
Nothing is
than
true.
else.
Nothing is true.
So if it's all bullshit, of course, there's no bullshit.
Right. Yes. You know what? It's actually importantly unimportant. You know, it's
Yeah,
just,
it really doesn't matter.
no matter what we say about it at all.
But also, when everything is equally bullshit, of course, it's liberation for what opinion there is.
No one.
No, for the opinion that some things,
Oh,
things really are bullshit.
right. I don't know that they're
But you
bullshit,
won't.
though.
But you won't be bothered
No.
by it. I have to say,
Right.
the bullshit won't bother you anywhere near as
No.
much as it did when it was important that you knew the difference between
Right.
truth and bullshit.
Yeah. How could I? How could
Oh.
I possibly know?
Well, you know, don't go around telling everybody they don't know the difference because they're not going to appreciate it.
I don't care. I'll just say what I want.
Well, I
How's
kind
that?
of got that already, but you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't. Well, I mean,
it's fine.
it's
But you
just
know-
whatever it is. I mean, I don't know whatever happens or comes out just as that. I don't know. It's
No.
that, you know. It's this. Just as it is, whatever, you know. Or I could get frantic about things, or I could, you know, play with the dog. I could do anything, you know.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't, whatever. It's all there.
Thanks.
Beautiful or not. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And don't forget, guys.
Thank you. Well, I didn't pay her or anything.
No, not at all.
Thanks, darling. So since last week, I've actually booked the dates with Trey in North Carolina, in Asheville, for the 28th, 29th, 30th of April. And then I'm hoping to then go to California. So I might have to give Michael a visit. I think it's a bit of a trek up to where he is, but we'll see. Anyway, I am hoping to go to California. I've always had a fantasy, as you can imagine, being a 70s child, a lot of Californian TV I watched as a kid, a hell of a lot. I watched endless Westerns, you know, so I've got a thing that I might have to be a cowboy for a day, you know. I played a lot of cowboys and Indians, not very PC these days, I know, but I've killed a lot of Sioux in my time. That's for Michael, and a few Cherokee.
Luke has his hand up.
Who's that? Luke?
Luke.
Yeah, hi Luke, go ahead.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
In fact, I realized recently that whatever I can understand or not understand or glimpse, whatever, from this kind of depth or what is not going to change or affect the life of this personage.
No.
And then I realized that, oh, which was intellectually obvious. And then I realized, oh, but there were an expectation. And I realized that there were somewhere in this mind, there was the expectation that by going in some depth, it will impact, or, you know, in better, of course, the life of this person. Whatever that means, you see. And I don't know how I realized that. Neither who, but that's another story.
No, there can be a realization that when there's a realization, there's no knowing how or why. It can be obvious that there's not a reason. But
yeah, there is no reason. In fact, And all this is just kind of appearing, of course, for no reason, but that's nonsensical for the mind, I would say. So
yeah, when I say for no reason, what I mean is the irrelevance of all the reasons that may be appearing for why it's appearing.
Say it again, please.
When I say, sorry, sometimes I shouldn't say anything. When I say no reason, really, I mean, whatever reasons appear, it can be obvious that they're empty, really, that they don't, there's nothing in the reasons still appear. I don't want you to think, you know, whoever speaks of this, or there are human beings that don't, there aren't thoughts of reasons. Of course, it's absolutely natural. Human beings are reasoning. You know.
Yeah, in fact, from my psychological background, I just see reasoning, cause and effect is just a kind of projection of the human mind on the world. It has nothing to do with the world. You know, it's
Absolutely.
Just
So what?
Okay, yeah. So in fact, this is this is just a meaning machine, kind of. We are trying to make meaning to orientate, to make sense. So, but
yeah. So that
it has nothing to do with reality. I would say, you know.
I think, yeah, really, if I'm trying to describe what seems to have happened here for Tim, is that the being in love with reasons and reasoning and working it out, the infatuation with that's what dies. It's like falling completely out of love with reasons. Whereas most selves are really very much infatuated with making sense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was somewhere, I said, if you remove meaning, hope, and I don't know what was the third one to a human being, it's just deep depression technically, right? So yeah. But
yeah, and I mean the thing about this message is it does talk about all the things that are typical to depression. Yeah. No wonder it's not popular. But of course, then the great paradox is that, of course, the absence of hope, which really for most, I mean, I've experienced depression quite a few times and know how it feels. And that hopelessness is very much a part of the sense of how life feels when there's depression. But the great paradox is that the complete absence of hope, the impossibility of hope, is not at all hopeless. With the death of hope, there is the death of hopelessness. Because hopeless only exists in hope. So when I remember the feeling of hopelessness, and of course that was still hoping. That's what that was. That's what that is. The sense of hopelessness is longing for hope.
Makes sense.
And there is
makes sense.
There is neither.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Another quick plug, I'm in London next Saturday, week on Saturday. I think the trains are running as well, which is a novelty. And I am going to Copenhagen in October, but I've not got the final dates for them. wherever October is.
Dario has his hand up.
Hi, Dario.
Hi, Tim.
Oh, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Have you ever been in Germany with this?
No, never been invited. No, I have been to Germany quite a few times when I was younger. Have I ever done a talk, did you mean?
Yeah.
No. Get on it, Dario.
I'm too lazy, I'm sorry.
Haven't. Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
maybe.
Maybe. I just checked YouTube and I entered your name and
Yeah.
then I sorted the videos by upload date. And then I scrolled all the way to the bottom and your first video was 5 years ago.
Was it really? It's 5 years, is it?
5 years, yeah.
Where's that?
The video?
No, I just said, where's the 5 years?
Oh, the 5 years.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it 5 years? I would have, if you'd have asked me, I'd have guessed 4, but yeah. What, this week? It's January, was it?
It's Brighton. The video was from Brighton.
Oh, Brighton, yeah. Yeah.
But that was longer ago even. No, 17, yeah?
Oh yeah, 6 years.
Sense of time is weird.
Yeah.
So weird. Does it still appear like a sense of time sometimes?
Yeah.
It's just another appearance.
I don't make anything. I don't sense of time. It's a really funny thing to ask, because you really have to. I mean, self just takes it for granted that it's a given that there is time. But of course, yeah, sense of time. I think that still appears in waiting. You know, I think generally it just doesn't. You know, there's very little sense of time. But if I'm waiting for somebody, watching a clock, everyone knows that, you know, then there's a sense of time. But generally in doing, if there's every human being knows this, if there's a sense of being engrossed in what's being done, that's why whatever is, there's just doing, no sense of being the doer, then there's no sense of time at all. Where did it go? Well, it went nowhere. I mean, it sounds like such a big deal that there is no time. It sounds such a ridiculous statement. For most human beings, it's taboo. I mean, saying there's no self is taboo. You be careful who you say that to. Most selves take great offense. Or some will just poo-poo it as, don't be so stupid and just ignore it. But a lot will take offense. But so most human beings, most selves will take offense that there is no time, because of course I don't exist without time. Where's my life? You know, basically you're dismissing their life. But really there is no time. At all. The illusion is of continuity. I am, the sense of being me is the illusion of a real past, my past, our history, our story, his story. And of course, a real future. Otherwise, it's hopeless without, of course, there is a future. Otherwise, life's hopeless. Well, without time, there is neither hope nor hopelessness. But there isn't anything in its place. That's the problem. The problem for trying to work it out. So what replaces time? I don't know. Nothing replaces it. There's nothing in its place. The illusion is that there was, you know, that there was this real time.
What about timelessness then?
No, there's no timelessness without time. So, you know, that would be a lovely fantasy, wouldn't it? Well, the trouble, I know, I listen to this shit a lot. And of course, all I could imagine was, okay, the absence of time, what will there be? Or there'll be infinite. There'll be infinity. And of course, the eternal. Well, yeah, you can fantasize about those things, but all there is the simple, ridiculously simple, obvious life happening. That's all. And of course, you don't need to know anything about, you don't need to know any words, you don't need to know, you don't need to understand. This has no requirements at all of the thinker. There's nothing to be worked out. This isn't a task to work out. So the whole problem for me is that life is a task, and my task is to work it out. That's what I was about. That's what I was trying to do. I'll know the secret. And I heard thousands of times that the secret was that there was no secret. But of course, I still wanted to know the secret, that there was no secret. That was still secret to me.
Now you got it, Tim.
So didn't.
Where does it lead me?
Where does it lead to?
Now, where does it leave me then?
Where does it leave you?
Yeah.
Right there, Dario. Where the hell else would you be?
Oh.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't leave you anywhere, Dario, but also it leaves you exactly where you are.
That's a joke.
That's a joke, yeah. Sounds like a joke. There is a kind of cruelty in this message, or it sounds cruel. It's not. It's just trying to state the obvious, and actually, it's very loving. That, you know, there is nowhere for Dario to go. So Dario gets to have a rest.
Finally.
Finally. And of course, the other thing that might be obvious then, Dario, is there is no finally. This isn't a final. This isn't a resting place. This is completely at rest, but it's not the end of Dario and his seeking. There was no Dario. There is no Dario to end. So in a way, I mean, it's worse. That's worse, really. Much worse. It's unthinkable. I can't imagine that I have not. I can try and imagine my own demise. There aren't many selves who don't fantasize about their own death, especially being at the funeral and how many people are weeping and wailing, and, you know, how terribly you'll be missed. But what self really can't entertain is that I haven't existed. So there's no one to die. There is death. but not for you and me.
I haven't existed.
No,
That's a bummer.
yeah. Fucking great though.
Gosh. Thank you, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome, Darian. I'll say you don't exist as many times as you like.
But yeah, that I haven't existed, that kind of hit me differently.
Yeah, it is different.
I thought I would know myself by knowing like the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, turns out there's nothing to be known. If it becomes obvious that you don't know yourself and you've never known yourself, so there can be the sense of I don't know who I am, but then then that's very, very, very uncomfortable, dangerous, scary place for me to be. So me will return and then say and create a story about what I do know. You know, I do know myself and what has my real story. But if I don't know myself, then of course I don't know any others. I can't know any others. There aren't any others. There are other human beings, but there aren't any other selves. And if you've longed to be seen, which I did, I had because there is an essential loneliness for me. The sense of being me is essentially lonely. And so this longing to know another, and even more importantly for me, it was that I could be seen by another. This longing to be seen, to be known by another. Well, there's some bad news about that. If you can't see yourself, there's absolutely no chance that any other self could ever see you. And again, I cried and cried. Oh shit. And it was, oh shit. No, of course, it's impossible. There's nothing to be seen. Fuck it. All that effort. I think a lot of the tears I cried were for that. I have to say, what we call relationships are much easier without that, because of course that's almost a constant demand. See me, see me, see me. It's just so inherently needy, that neediness to be acknowledged, to be seen, to be known. So of course, without me, there are no other me's. Just beautiful human beings. Some who you immediately love and you long to be in their company. Others you find quite repulsive and don't want to be in their company. And yet, and this is unexpected, you still love them. the ones you don't like. You don't like them. You don't want to be with them. But there is an undeniable love still for being human in a really simple way. I think the love, when I speak of that love, it's just that, of course, every human being could be no other than they are. There's no possibility that they could be any other way. And that innocence, you know, like you might find one baby pretty and another one not so pretty. And one screams a lot and shits itself and really is quite unpleasant. And then there's the most gorgeous, beautiful babies, but they're all innocent, aren't they? And so all of humanity is innocent. Doesn't mean you like it, though. Because I often I think I misheard when I heard speak of love. I thought it meant that, you know, that you were in love or that you liked. It was like an acceptance. No, rejection is just as acceptable. Knowing that it couldn't be any other way. So, well, that we're just about.
Kathy has a hand up. Have you got time for one more?
Yeah, go on, Kathy.
Well, I just wanted to comment that you're very open for not being, I mean, you know, I had a hard time with everything. I don't know. Where is there always love? I don't like, but there's still love.
Yeah.
All over. Oh, wow. That's so open, Tim. Wow. Really great.
I don't mean, right, it's a tricky
Yeah,
word. I mean,
but it's very
loath to use
sweet.
I mean, it is a tricky word, love. I just mean really
I
that
want to start crying.
it couldn't be.
But you love the whole world.
Yeah.
No.
You'll cry for everything, probably.
Can't. All right. I don't know.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And continue good luck with the
Thanks.
golf game. With the golf game. Thank you.
Oh yeah, don't worry about the golf. The golf's looking after itself.
See that?
Well, thanks very much for coming, everyone.
Thanks, Dale.
Thank you. Thanks, Darren.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Darren.
And I know
Thanks,
most
Darren.
of you are a long, long way away, but if I have booked the third Saturday of each month until April, January, February, March, April, third Saturday in Hampstead in London to do a meeting. Because I love doing this. This is a real pleasure, but there is something about meeting and, you know, having a hug. And, I don't know. There is. It's something else. Just the same. You know, I'm sitting here talking to a screen. It's quite insane. You know, only a few years ago, I mean, not really, just as a story, a few years ago, people would have said, if you know, looking at you lot, looking at the screen, and me just talking to myself, looking at a screen for an hour and a bit. It's pretty mental, isn't it? But yeah, lovely. Thanks very much. And yeah, the book's out on Amazon, selling a few. I've made it cheap. It's only £10, so I think it's only $10. So unexpected birthday present for someone you love or don't like at all. Lovely. Yeah, I do think it is lovely. Thanks. It's the first book I brought out was, I think it's the most personal non-duality book I've ever seen. And this one is even more personal. So there's a personal photograph on every page. And so, I don't know, I always had a problem with this message being kind of academic, you know, in any way. I had a problem with spirituality, had a problem with it being an academic discipline that you could learn, you know. So I've kind of been motivated for whatever books I bring out to be the antithesis of that, you know. So because of course the wonder is that what we call individuality is liberated without the individual. There's more individuality without me. I mean, it's wonderfully paradoxical. It's freedom for the human being to just be the, you know, beautifully unique, but utterly insignificant human being. How wonderful. That's all the love. If you see the insignificance of yourself, you'll cry. But if you see it for all humanity, wow, it's an unimagined kind of love. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes, Darren. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tim and Darren.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Darren.
Thanks, everybody.